They say love is blind. I guess it is in some cases, but the truth is love is in the eyes of the beholder. Have you ever seen a woman marry a man almost 2 feet shorter than her? What about a man who says he is specialized in driving heavy machinery when he jokes about his wife's 99-inch hips? If you want to see some of the most polarizing couples, keep watching as we count down 15 most unusual couples in the world.
Lisa and Chris Pittman, and we are the world's most powerful couple.
At 15, Gabriella and Victor Peralta. Gabriella and Victor Peralta have 50 piercings, 4 microdermals, 11 body implants, 5 dental implants, 4 ear expanders, 2 ear bolts, and 1 forked tongue between them. The two are likewise covered in tattoos, with Victor covering 90% of his body and Gabriella 65%. They hold the Guinness World Record for the world's most modified married pair. Gabriella, 42, and Victor, 43, both from Buenos Aires, Argentina, have been together for 13 years and describe each other as perfect. They adore each other, they each have numerous tattoos and alterations, and they continue to add to their collections despite what others may think. At the age of 13, Victor received his first tattoo, an F word across his fingers, while Gabriella got a crimson rose on her chest, which has since been covered up. Gabriella had been a piercer and body modification expert for 6 years, and he had been a professional piercer for 20 years. All that matters is they don't hurt each other and that they love each other. Number 14. ELISANY da CRUZ SILVA and FRANCINALDO CARVALHO. After her tiny fiancé proposed, Brazil's tallest adolescent is ready to become the world's tallest bride. ELISANY da CRUZ SILVA, who stands at a towering 6 foot 8 inches, has been dating FRANCINALDO da Silva Carvalho, 5 foot 4 inches tall, for more than 3 years. Even though they were separated by a whopping 1 foot 4 inches, FRANCINALDO had no trouble extending the gap by falling down on one knee following a romantic stroll along the shore. For the past year, the couple has shared a small home in the Brazilian town of Salinopolis, and they're hoping to hear the pitter-patter of tiny feet soon. ELISANY is so determined to have a kid that although being only 18, she is willing to adopt if she does not become pregnant soon. Because of a sort of gigantism caused by a tumour on her pituitary gland, the youngster is concerned that she may be unable to conceive. Despite this, the pair remain optimistic about a long and happy future together. FRANCINALDO had to work hard to get the ring on ELISANY's finger, because the recently engaged couple hasn't even seen eye to eye. She was still a little childish when she met him, so she was simply messing around with him for a time until she became irritated with him, as if he were a rival she despised. She simply despised him and wished to strike him every time they met. Little FRANCINALDO, on the other hand, has a big heart and remembers their meeting differently. He first noticed her when he went to fetch some bread and observed her from afar. He immediately checked her out, and she did the same. Then he realized he had to be with her. He thought she was stunning every time he saw her, and as ELISANY got envious of FRANCINALDO's prowess with the ladies, her hatred transformed to love. Even though the couple is head over heels in love, not everyone is overjoyed about their impending engagement. Ana Maria Ramos, ELISANY's mother, is baffled as to how this proposition came to be. ELISANY, who has lived in the same neighborhood her entire life and is known as the big girl, continues to garner glances as she walks down the street. Despite the glances, FRANCINALDO is excited to show off his new fiancée. Everyone thinks she's stunning, including her pals. Their bond is unique because they both understand each other. At number 13, Shawn Stevenson and Mindie NISS. Mindie NISS, an Arizona citizen, is happily married to Shawn Stevenson, a man she describes as one of the most sexual persons she has ever known. According to NISS, just because he's crippled doesn't mean they don't enjoy a great sex life. Both motivational speakers, the pair met through a mutual friend in 2009 and married in 2012, when NISS relocated to Chicago to be closer to her young beloved. The lovebirds were regularly attacked by online bullies who claimed Stevenson couldn't get the job done in the bedroom throughout their relationship. NISS was even accused of being with him for the money. Stevenson was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, a condition that causes fragile bones. He had 200 fractured bones in his legs, arms, neck, collarbone, ankle, femur, and nose by the time he was 18. Stevenson's most serious mishap occurred when he fell out of his wheelchair while walking his dog. He was treated for fractures in his cranium, ankle, kneecap, thigh, and hip bone by doctors. The carefree couple currently reside in Scottsdale, where they continue to defy those who doubt their romance. People, she believes, are uncomfortable with the thought that people with disabilities are normal human beings with sexual urges, dreams, and a desire to be touched. She believes it is a powerful statement about people's discomfort with their own bodies and the idea of disabled people having sex lives. Number 12. Melinda and Larry MIKLA. Married, Melinda and Larry MIKLA have a 30-year age difference in their relationship, which is unusual. Passers-by mistake them for father and daughter, or worse, a granddaughter and her grandfather, and they draw stares everywhere they go. In August 2012, Larry, a retired police officer, was the first responder to a minor traffic accident involving Melinda's car. The couple are currently trying to have a child, but they're unsure if it will be possible due to Larry's vasectomy 18 years ago. Number 11. Kyle Jones and Marjorie McCool. What if we told you that a 31-year-old man in Pittsburgh is dating a 91-year-old great-grandmother? Kyle Jones is 31 years old and is dating Marjorie McCool, who, by the way, has the coolest name ever. This isn't a hoax or a gold-digging situation on his part. He's really interested in her. Kyle claims that he's always been drawn to older women. She was 50 when he brought his first girlfriend home at the age of 22. He now only dates ladies who are at least 10 years his senior. He says he provides an experience that is different from what elderly women are used to. He presents them with an opportunity for adventure. Kyle met Marjorie at a bookstore in 2009. She had been divorced from the father of her 6 children for 37 years when she met Kyle. Their relationship's physical aspect is fantastic. She astonishes herself, and he astonishes her. Nothing compares to it. Number 10. JOELISON Fernandez da Silva and EVEM MEDEIROS. When a 7'8" guy meets a woman who is 3 feet shorter than him, the possibility of love at first sight seems remote. JOELISON Fernandez da Silva and EVEM MEDEIROS fell in love on their first meeting. Since he was born, however, life has been anything but ordinary for the world's 3rd tallest man. As a child, the 28-year-old had gigantism. His baby shoes stopped fitting his feet properly when he was a few months old, and his parents had to constantly buy new ones. He also had to deal with bullying at school, which drove him to drop out. Doctors discovered he had a benign tumor in his pituitary gland, which caused his body to create an abnormal amount of growth hormone, resulting in his incredible development. He was first apprehensive about having the gland removed, but after learning it may be fatal, he agreed. As a result, the gland was removed in 2007 via laser surgery through his nose. After the surgery, which ended his gigantism, things began to look up for him. After quitting his jobs at a gold mine and a tea plantation, he began appearing in television commercials. JOELISON was suddenly gathering fans, one of whom was EVEM MEDEIROS, a 21-year-old who initially contacted him on Facebook. It was love at first sight the first time he saw her. Her allure drew him in. He desired to spend all his time with her. He was unconcerned about her height. JOELISON is open about the significant height disparity between himself and his wife, admitting he has become accustomed to being bombarded with intrusive queries about their lives. He's frequently asked about this, which initially irritated him, but is now commonplace, and he's used to it. He takes it in his stride and laughs it off. The pair is now rumoured to be planning a family. And number 9. DW and Willie Williams, the world's longest living couple. 103-year-old D.W. Williams and 100-year-old Willie Williams marked 82 years of marriage and 7 days apart on their birthdays. Their daughter, grandchild, and family threw a party for them at their Charlotte church. In 2014, they won the state's longest-running marriage contest. They first met in 1935 in Newberry, South Carolina, and married in 1937. They spend their days watching country and westerns and doing crossword puzzles these days. There are no quarrels or fights between them. They simply talk it out as if they have a misunderstanding. According to the longest married couple, being polite to each other is the key to a long marriage. They enjoy a long and happy marriage because they prioritize God and are each other's best friends. Their grandchildren look up to their grandparents' marriage as an example. They talk and make decisions together. They work together to attain their goals, and everyone admires them for their sincerity. They simply motivate everyone to achieve their full potential. And number 8. JAYLA Cooper and Jose GRIGGS. The bride wore a tiara and was clothed in ruffled white. The groom promised to be her best friend for the rest of her life. They exchanged rings and danced to their favorite song, Love Bug by the Jonas Brothers, as the delighted North Texas pair swooned. The bride, JAYLA Cooper, is 9 years old, and the groom, Jose GRIGGS, is 7 years old. But their parents were there for them every step of the way. The wedding was more of a final desire for JAYLA, who has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukemia and may only have weeks to live, according to her doctors. She was ecstatic and joyful and had a great time dancing and doing fun things with them. She met her future spouse at a Halloween party when they were both receiving treatment at Children's Medical Center at the Dallas Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders. Even though the ceremony was not legal, JAYLA wanted all the pomp and circumstances of a wedding, including 150 guests, floral arrangements, and a preacher. It took less than a week to put everything together. Who doesn't fantasize about her wedding day as a small girl? According to experts, granting a die-in request might help not only the child, but also the family cope with the tragedy. While JAYLA's wish was a first for the hospital, it was not the first time such a request had been made. Number 7. PAOLO and KATYUCIA. After being married, PAOLO Gabriel da Silva Barros and KATYUCIA Hoshino, both of Brazil, were certified as a combined height of only 71.42 inches and became the world record holders. PAOLO and KATYUCIA met in Orkut, a now defunct social media platform, in 2006. From the time he saw her, he thought she was stunning. KATYUCIA, on the other hand, did not reciprocate and initially blocked PAOLO on the instant messaging platform before PAOLO gradually won her over. They would converse online on a regular basis for a few years before meeting in person for the first time in 2008. They started dating soon after that. They maintained a 4-year long-distance relationship, seeing one another every couple of months. KATYUCIA chose to relocate from her town to PAOLO's birthplace in 2012. They didn't have to live together for long to realize they were meant to be. PAOLO, a local government civil worker, and KATYUCIA, a beauty salon entrepreneur, both get a lot of attention because of their height, and not all of it is positive. They've discovered that being together draws more attention, but it also offers them more power in coping with the focus. They are ecstatic to be a part of the Guinness World Records Day and to have their extraordinary achievement recognized. They hope to inspire people around the world to look past others' physical differences and see that everyone deserves to be treated equally. They may be small in stature, but they have big hearts and a lot of love for each other and everyone in their life. Their lives are not without difficulties, but they are grateful they can face them together. At number 6, KRISTIN, Victoria and Mark. KRISTIN met her husband Mark online 14 years ago, and it wasn't evident from her profile photo that she had a disability. When she told him, he didn't believe her until he met her. Until they finally met, he assumed she was testing him to see if he was shallow. KRISTIN is a strong-willed young lady, and her disability was never an issue in their dating relationship. Before their wedding, they took dance lessons together, and she adores Mark as a spouse. KRISTIN, according to Mark, lives her life as a regular woman would, doing all she would normally do. Society, according to KRISTIN, still stands in the way since it doesn't understand how a disabled person may be happily married and live a regular life. Individuals often refer to Mark as her brother or a relative rather than her spouse because they're still unable to picture people in wheelchairs having meaningful relationships. Mark and KRISTIN have the travel itch and love to tour new locations she never dreamed she would be able to see before. They made spaghetti and drank wine on top of Tuscany's hills. They've ridden the gondolas in Venice and stayed just outside of Costa Rica's Arenal volcano. She wants to blog about her beautiful life with disabilities on social media since she believes many people assume she's unhappy and not enjoying her life. She spent a lot of time in the hospital after breaking a lot of bones, but it's all given her a new perspective on life and helped her become the warrior she is today. Her life has been genuinely blessed with a caring life partner like Mark, who has stood shoulder to shoulder with her throughout their marriage and has never felt like a caregiver to her, but rather a spouse. Number 5. Hannah Rose Dalton and Stephen Raj Bhaskaran. What began as a gathering of like-minded design students has grown into one of the most well-known businesses and Instagram accounts today. Hannah Rose Dalton and Stephen Raj Bhaskaran founded the label Fecal Matter to voice their grievances and highlight inequalities in the fashion business, inspired by their common frustration with the industry's waste and textile problem. The duo's consistent creative production and sincerity have sparked a rapidly expanding network in which uncensored ideas and alternative viewpoints are encouraged and shared. The dynamic designers shine light on uniqueness, censorship, and life before social media in this exhibition. What spurred the establishment of Fecal Matter began at a design school in Montreal, where they were learning pattern making, draping, and sewing skills, despite the fact that they looked radically different when they met. They expressed their thoughts about the fashion industry, including poor labor conditions for mass-produced clothing, environmental costs, and industry discrimination. They thought it was their responsibility after graduation to provide a forum where they would share uncensored ideas and present an alternative perspective within the industry. At number 4, Chris and Lisa Pittman. Lisa had no idea her life was about to alter in the largest way ever in May 2011. After a couple of fruitless broken relationships, Lisa met her perfect match, Chris Pittman, the most amazing man and love of her life. And it was love at first sight. However, there was a significant stumbling block in the way. Chris was from Wales, while Lisa was from England. Their love grew stronger, and after a few months, Chris made the decision to leave his lucrative business and relocate to England to be with Lisa. Chris began his own company, but it was short-lived since his vehicle was broken into and all his belongings were taken, making it difficult for him to continue. Chris felt depressed and unsure of what to do after coming to another country, not knowing anyone or even his way around, and having his work belongings stolen, which he'd accumulated over years. Lisa suggested Chris come along and try Taekwondo, which he did after some convincing. Lisa recognized Chris's strength and skill in Taekwondo and proposed he train to be a black belt instructor so they could continue to grow Virtue Taekwondo as a club and business. Lisa had been doing Taekwondo for 22 years and was a 6th degree black belt international instructor at the time. Having Chris's girlfriend teach him Taekwondo was a difficult challenge for him to accept. Despite this, Chris adored Taekwondo, and earning a black belt at the age of 45 would be a remarkable accomplishment. Chris, despite being an all-rounder, quickly discovered his calling card, power breaking. Chris was so good at it that even as a beginner, he was breaking more boards than any of Lisa's existing black belt friends. In fact, if he had been a black belt, he would have qualified for the national team, as that is the level required to compete internationally. Chris and Lisa love teaching Taekwondo and consider themselves fortunate to have the most fulfilling work in the world. They believe their positive energy and self-confidence can assist to transform people's lives in a variety of ways, both big and small. Seeing their kids' faces light up as they train and achieve their objectives is priceless. Number 3. Philip Elling and Susna Elling. Trolls have targeted a video of their first dance on their wedding day after it went viral, according to a couple with an interabled relationship who have detailed the abuse they have experienced. Philip Elling from Adelaide was born with Bethlehem myopathy, a rare form of muscular dystrophy. It affects the skeletal muscles and connective tissue, and it causes muscle weakening and joint stiffness over time. Susan Elling, Philip's wife, met him in 2016 while working at a centre that assists people with impairments. She'd relocated from Kenya a year before. The pair instantly grew smitten with each other, and they married a year later. However, after a video of the pair dancing on their wedding day went viral, the couple got hundreds of harsh comments on Facebook, including accusations that Susan married Philip for his money. They received almost 2 million views and 8,000 comments on their Facebook video shortly after their big day, some of which were very unpleasant. Most of the remarks focused on why someone would marry a crippled man. They'd write things like, "He has to be wealthy," and there were a lot of hints that she was planning to murder him and steal his money once she became a citizen. Despite the violence, the couple says they're ecstatic and cannot wait to spend the rest of their lives together. Philip's disease causes weakness in his fingers, wrists, elbows, and ankles. He has, however, been diagnosed with the most severe case of his illness in the Southern Hemisphere, necessitating the use of a wheelchair. Philip has faced numerous challenges in his daily life because of his poor physical health, but owing to his wife, he remains positive and ambitious. Number 2. Carrie and Alan. A 32-year-old couple who are frequently mistaken for father and daughter have recently celebrated 17 joyful years of marriage. Even though they've been married for nearly 3 decades, Carrie, 44, says she and husband Alan, 76, are soulmates in every manner and have known it since the beginning. The romance between the age gap couple began 22 years ago, when he was 55 and she was 23, and working for one of Alan's clients. Carrie says she was aware that Alan was older than she was, but they developed such a great rapport over the phone at work that she was eager to meet in person. They talked for hours after Alan invited her to lunch and seemed to agree on everything. They hit it off right away and have been dating ever since. They've been together since 1998 and they've been married since 2003. They have a lot of personality qualities in common, thus they consider being a good fit. Alan has 2 older daughters from a previous marriage, but he claims he was upfront with them about his serious plans for his current spouse early on. Carrie's experience was unique. She added that when she told her mother about Alan, who is 5 years her senior, she was very angry. She was worried Alan was taking advantage of her. He hesitated to notify her mother for a long time, even after Alan proposed, out of fear of a harsh reaction. For fear of unpleasant reactions, they rarely embrace, kiss, or hold hands in public. Carrie, who is childless, and Alan, who is the grandfather of 2, both agreed that an age difference between relationships has numerous advantages. The older mate's maturity brings security and reassurances to the younger person. The younger of the 2 provides the older with vitality and excitement for life, and each can benefit greatly from the other's experiences. One disadvantage is she frequently thinks about how her life would be without Alan. She's concerned about being alone, particularly since she is childless. They've just launched a podcast together. Age Gap Love Story is written for those who are in the age gap relationship with someone their own age, in the hopes it may be beneficial. Number 1. Mikkel Raffanelli. Curvy Mikkel is married to Reggie Brooks, a computer technician who is also her best friend and collaborator. Mikkel's first child, Andrew, was born before the 2 met and is from a previous relationship. The couple are the parents of 3 children. Mikkel, a plus-sized model from Santa Monica, says she adores her body and thinks it's quite attractive. Most men, Mikkel says, prefer big and voluptuous women instead of slim ones. Reggie loves Mikkel just the way she is, and that he jokes, saying he's licensed to operate heavy gear. Raffanelli began modeling for a plus-size website in 2013, after being named the woman with the widest hips. She was paid well for each shoot. She is a life coach who encourages other big and beautiful women to be proud of their bodies in addition to being a plus-sized model. Mikkel Raffanelli appreciates and celebrates her curves, and she isn't hesitant to flaunt them. Her joyful life and inspiring narrative continue to inspire many curvy plus-sized people. She also has over 12,000 Instagram followers and is a social media influencer. Mikkel Raffanelli's net worth is unclear. Despite all this knowledge about her career, her most pressing concern today is locating a gown in which she can renew her vows to her spouse. Some of these couples are unique to say the least. My favourite has to be the kids when you consider the reasons why. Which one was your favourite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our countdown of 15 most unusual couples in the world. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.